some of you guys like that baby sound. I do too, actually, to be honest. Feeding the nicotine addiction. Anyway, so I've been thinking about putting a clickbaity title on this. It'll probably just end up being something like My Religion or something, because as much as I'd like to be clickbaity to get everybody to kind of watch my videos, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this is going to be about my religion. I've kind of had some apprehension about making this. I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been thinking about making videos for a long time, but, you know, a lot of you guys realize that I'm a flake on that regard, so I apologize, but, you know, it is my nature to be an eccentric screwball and whatever. Anyway, but I think there's a responsibility that if you're going to talk about things like religion, you need to be aware about, because, you know, people get uptight, they get defensive, they get triggered. And if you're a person of faith, and maybe if I say something that challenges your belief, you might get upset or whatnot, because I'm going to speak frankly about my beliefs. I'm not interested in ticking anybody off or making people my enemy. Yeah, so there you go. I'm going to try to be honest and clear, and it isn't like I'm trying to get converts, because there is no church to join. It's my own thing, because that's all, as you might imagine, I don't know, I don't fit well into other people's pegs, or the holes that pegs go into, whatever. Anyway. I'm just trying to figure out, because I have been rolling it around in my mind, and trying to think about how I should do this clearly is the problem, or my problem. So when people typically ask me about things about theology, religion, whatever, I tend to characterize myself as an atheist. Most of the time I don't even want to enter into the conversation, frankly, though, because, unless I know you, and I know that there's going to be some, decent amount of respect and listening back and forth, right, then, I'm not interested in debating things with people or any of that. This is just me babbling, right, anyway. So I'm an atheist, but I'm not an anti-theist. I'm not interested in dissuading anybody from believing in God. I just do not. Now, having said that, I do consider myself a spiritual person. I know a lot of people have problems with that, but, I don't. So what does my religion look like? What is that? Okay, so I use the word religion, and I call it that, and I call my practice a religion. But I'm using the word religion in a sense of that, I got from taking some classes way back when I was a young man, 30-something years ago, at a community college in El Cajon, California. And it was I took a bunch of philosophy, logic, but anyway, this one course I took was Religions of Man. And in that course, it was I guess what people often call a survey course, right? You're taking a course about things. You're not going to become an expert in world religion. It's going to just give you a dabbling of world religions in a way in which to think about it academically. So within that academic framework, the word religion, we went into some etymology, whatever, religare from the French, and, going back to the same root as ligament, right, to reconnect. I think it's interesting that the word and the concept is a very common thing about reconnection, is we've lost something, right? The Garden of Eden and, original sin, and, there's a lot of whatever. But reconnect to what? In a lot of ways people say religion is about contemplating your place and what that means. And I mean, I guess that's what the purpose that religion serves for people, at least part of it, right? How did the world get here? What are we doing? But it's also very importantly, what do we do in the world and interact with it? So I do contemplate those things and take them very seriously. I just don't feel that I need to have a deity involved. If you want to look for something in the realm of traditional religions that you could pin down, where I draw from, even before I took that class, I was very interested in such things as, I guess one might call them non-Western religions, right? Because, well, they're not in the West and whatnot. As a young person, I'm thinking, when did I first get that? My mom loaned me a copy of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. She got it, because she was a college student when I was a kid. My mom was young when I was born, so my parents were high school sweethearts. It wasn't really a shotgun wedding, but I like to tell that to people because it's amusing. They were, basically right out of high school they had me. And actually my dad, who was younger than my mom, actually I think graduated a semester early so he could get a job and actually be my dad. Anyway, so my mom gave me a copy of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, the yin-yang thing with the black and white circle thing, right? Everybody's pretty familiar with that kind of nonsense. That was pretty formative in me, but there's no deity in that. Not if you read Lao Tzu, right? Also, I was pretty interested in Buddhism, and I had some neighbors when I was growing up who practiced a religion called Siddha Yoga, which was their guru was a guy from India named Muktananda. I used to have a copy of his book. I went to their ashram with him a couple of times to chant and whatnot. So it was sort of it was a yoga thing with a guru from India, right? So you would figure there's going to be at least some stuff about Hinduism in there, right? Because that's kind of the way that works. But his emphasis and the part that I was really interested in was the power of meditation and what meditation can do for you. So I learned how to meditate. I was given the mantra Soham, which I still use. So when it comes to just nuts and bolts practices, my religion is basically meditation and contemplation. And there are some Hindu concepts that I also find pretty appealing, like the concept of Maya, or play, right? Which in just about every applicable way of using the word play in both, like thinking of games, right, which almost makes it trivial, right? And also play as in literature play, like you're playing through a role, right? It's all of those things. It's also to do with, I think, the nonsense we carry around in our heads. Like, our senses provide us a little model of the universe in our head that we use to navigate, right? We have, you see the world around you and it's all nice and smooth and well put together. We have sensations from tactile, sense of smell. Anyway, our brains manage to put together, a pretty intensely convincing notion of reality that I experience, right? That we all sort of do, at least presumably, right? I'm going to dispense with things like head in the vat and, or even, for that matter, simulation theory and things like that. I know a lot of people like to say things like, well, it's more likely that you're in a simulation than not, and I'm like, I don't know if I buy that. It seems like a pretty... Essentially because you're asserting things outside of the realm of the reality in which you find yourself. Really, simulation theory is just another form of deity. It's supernatural, right? If what we live in is nature, that's from outside of that. You can't get much more supernatural than that. So I find it funny when science types start going on about, with confidence about this simulation theory idea and whatever, and it's just like, you know what you just did is you just put a different flavor on God, didn't you? It's funny to me. Anyway, so I've got a notion of the universe that's in my head. A large amount of it is cobbled together by my brain that I had no will over, right? It just did it for me. I see things, I feel things, I smell things. Anyway, in my mind, I think that paradigm nonsense that goes on in our heads that we all carry around is also Maya. And if you're interested in, I'm not going to go into some big thesis about this stuff like I'm doing some sort of a PhD paper or some kind of nonsense. I'm just going to, spout out crap as it comes to my head, I guess. But if you're interested in kind of knowing more about some of those concepts, and I might recommend that you listen to lectures by a guy named Alan Watts. He's a pretty credible scholar and a very charismatic speaker. And he has a talent for talking about these ideas and interrelating them, especially to, well, for me it was, he's conveying things from another culture into the Western mind in a way that I felt that I could comprehend it and use the information he was giving me to enrich my life. So I recommend him. And he talks about Taoism and Hinduism and Zen Buddhism and, a lot of that stuff. Anyway. So what's the gist of all this, right? So if I'm a being and I have senses, and it leads me to some kind of understanding about where I am in the universe, right? Based on these observations and, of course, interactions with other people. I'm not sure where to begin with. Okay, so let's talk about, the origin myth of the universe. I think if you need to talk about our 4D time stream, whatever this expanding universe thing is we find ourselves in, where there are us, people, objects, stuff, events, all that kind of stuff, the things that we can actually talk about and point to, and that we have in common, right? In a common language sort of way, we tend to say reality, right? Okay, that's fine. So we have that. I think if you want to ask questions about that and you actually want answers that mean something meaningful to you, you need to use science. Because the world is a pretty dynamic place. I think it's pretty obvious to observe that. And as I witness the world and my interaction with it, and taking into consideration my interactions with other humans, when I look at, say, scriptural material, which, I've done more reading than just taking that class, many years ago, I find a lot of useful and beautiful things in various religions. And lots of commonality, right? Well, another thing that just pops into my mind, but I'll make a recommendation for you guys. That's kind of along those lines of commonality, or things that you can take from religion that are, maybe good for you, but, doesn't demand that you actually believe anything really, but just, giving you some stuff to think about, is a book by a guy named Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. And I always mess up this title. I think it's Living Buddha, Living Christ, but it might be Living Christ, Living Buddha, whatever. And I have a copy. I think I loaned it to somebody. Anyway, I recommend that. It's pretty groovy. If you have any interest in, messages about compassion and love, he gives you some good stuff to chew on there. So I find utility and beauty in religious stuff. The part where I diverge from other religions is when they start trying to talk about primacy of their perspective or paradigm, right? When anybody's telling me the only way to get to heaven, or the only way that you should be allowed to behave, or the only way that you should believe about certain things are, that's tyrannical thinking to my mind. For me, freedom is very, very important. And I don't mean freedom like, I get stuff for free, or I can, be some weird, loosey-goosey fool, just, being whimsical. That's not what I mean by freedom. Mostly what I mean by freedom is a lack of tyranny, right? My being able to figure out what my life should be about and my beliefs, and that's everything from the food I eat, to the sex I have, to the people I keep company with, whatever. These things, I should be able to control those things for myself as best I can. So I don't like people wagging their finger at me and going, you need to think this way or else you're wrong. And that goes beyond just religious thinking as well. Political thinking, social thinking. I don't like people wagging their finger at me. But I do like the way different people in different religions talk about what their place is in the world, and I think the origin stories are interesting. I think the commonalities of them, there's tons of places that have flood myths, for example, which is becoming very intriguingly interesting because of things that have come out about, I don't know how many of you follow this kind of stuff, but there's a place in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe, which has a tremendous amount of big structures that, well, given what we thought we knew about people at that period in history, or I guess this is prehistory really, right, because nobody's really writing things down, it's archaeology, but it shouldn't be there. They shouldn't have been smart enough or able to do that. That's not what we thought, so clearly it's pushed back our idea about what we as a collection of beings was capable of doing when now I've lost my train of thought. Why did I bring up Göbekli Tepe in the first place? Oh, right, flood myths. The only reason I find a connection there is because of, sorry about that, I hope it didn't make a horrible noise, I just bumped that. There's another thing that goes along with a lot of that research, that's the Younger Dryas, right, which has to do with ice ages and cataclysmic events and whatnot. So it seems that there may have actually been physical events that really did happen in ancient prehistory that correspond to events that might be described in flood myths, which is pretty crazy, right? In any case, so I do like the stories. I do find them, like I said, useful, beautiful, and all of that. I just, again, don't really feel the need that there's got to be a deity for all this stuff to hang together in the way that I observe it and understand it. However, I am not so adamant about my beliefs that I want to go around forcing them on other people. And I would hope that the rest of you would respect me enough to do a similar thing. Free to talk about your stuff, practice it however you want, all that kind of thing, Just don't shake your fingers at me and try to change laws about my behavior. Another reason, I think when we're talking about reality, so to speak, right, the tables and chairs and the sun and the stars and the food I eat and the people around here and whatever, right, all that stuff that, seems to exist in what we call reality. Part of what humans do in society, right, where we live collectively, we do collective problem solving. That's how we've managed to survive. We would not survive well if it was, a strategy like, say, lions, or actually maybe not lions, because lions have a pride, right? I'm thinking or solitary hunters like tigers or something, right? We wouldn't do that well. Our survival strategy was more in line with, say, dogs, right? Pack kind of, a group. I think maybe that's why we and dogs get along so well. So another aspect of religion is how we deal with each other, right? I mean, it's given us codes of conduct and, like 10 Commandments, etc., right? And that's fine from a traditional sense. However, as our population grows and we become more technologically sophisticated and we realize that the world is way more nuanced than our ancestors ever understood it to be, some of those things don't work so well anymore. The world is a dynamic place. Codifying things and setting it down into a static fashion and saying that that's the way reality has to be adhered to as far as your cognition goes is just simply stupid in my opinion. Now, if you're just doing it as this is, story and tradition and it can have beauty and all that, that's fine. But if you want it to affect things like public policy and acceptable behavior as far as civility and those types of things, not so much. Again, I'm going to say that you need to consult scientific evidence. The rest of the stuff is about your psyche, your spirit, whatever. How does that fit in the world? What do you believe about yourself and the people around you and how you should treat them? Now there's going to be those of you who are going to go, well, Bill, you can do all that stuff with science. You don't need to have religion. No, you're right. If that's your paradigm, then you can do that. However, I like the idea of putting it together and calling it my religion because of my history with academia, my interests in reading and contemplation, whatever. To me, it seems like the more appropriate word is in fact religion. But your mileage may vary. I'm trying to think of other things that I might tell you that may be useful, but I had a whole host of things I wanted to have in my head, or that I had in my head that I wanted to say. And now that I'm standing here in front of the microphone, they've all evaporated, so, whatever. Okay, so I guess now would be a good enough time to talk about my cosmology, because it is pretty sciencey. Well, here's another thing, I guess before I get into that. I often use the word sciencey, because I think there's a whole host of people in science who are just as close-minded and bigoted as dogmatic religious fanatics. You know what I mean? For example, I have a tremendous interest in things that are weird and paranormal and strange and, like UFOs and this and that. Now, however, if you're going to make assertions like there are aliens, you need to have some evidence that there's actually aliens. You know what I mean? I do believe that there is the potential for alien life out there in the universe. The whole thing about the number of planets and this and that, and there's the whole Fermi paradox and all that. And, yeah, that's fine. So I don't really try to, force anything on anybody, but I find a lot of very interesting things to contemplate around those ideas, and even paranormal ideas. I know a lot of people go, oh, that's all hocus pocus and blah, 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 woo-woo. And yeah, maybe not. The thing is people have experiences, and you can go, oh, that's just something in their mind, right? Figment of their imagination or whatever. Right, but it still happened, didn't it? Maybe not for you. Right, but in their subjective reality, something went on. I don't think that's nothing, and I don't think hand-waving it away and calling people names gives you any better understanding about what's going on. And I think we'll need to understand those things because it has to do with our minds and how they work. And really what science is saying when it says, ooh, that's just poppycock or whatever, is it, okay, you just don't understand it, and you don't understand it to such a degree that you don't even know where to begin to talk about it. So it's better to insult it and belittle the people. Because here's the thing, I do think people have strange experiences and whatnot. I am hesitant to jump on bandwagons and say, oh, some kind of apparition was necessarily a ghost or something like that. I don't know dismissing it as poppycock gets anybody anywhere. But having said that, if all you're doing is contemplating it and thinking weird, cool thoughts because they amuse you or intrigue you or you find them appealing or even tantalizing, that's not sufficient to make other people, you have to believe what I say because, no, sorry. Anyway, so let me get on to my cosmology because it is pretty sciencey informed, I suppose, but there's a bit of, woo and nonsense in this, so I might as well. Okay, so I start with stuff I call transdimensional goo, and only because I like the phrase, and I need to have some sort of mechanism in my imagination to hang this thing together. Transdimensional because it's not in dimensions or space that we understand as such. And there is an event that happens in the transdimensional goo that sets up a resonance or a vibration, like the ringing of a bell, so to speak. And that ringing of that bell of the transdimensional goo is in fact the underlying thing that is the Big Bang. Except for we're not the transdimensional goo. We are the vibration that is being transmitted through the transdimensional goo. So in some sense, maybe the transdimensional goo doesn't need to exist. I'm just using it as a crutch. Because my feeble monkey brain isn't big enough to handle the crap I'm trying to imagine. Anyway. So this bell gets rung. And there is a tremendous primary wavefront which resolves itself into our 4D time stream as we experience what we call space-time. And it exists in what we experience as our 4D reality, whatever that is, right? 3 dimensions plus time, and whatever, there's maybe other dimensions along for the ride that we don't maybe directly experience with, cuts and vision and that kind of crap, but maybe exists elsewhere. Perhaps our minds even. In any case, that's the basic wavefront, and the harmonics of that wavefront correspond to the 12 or 13 different fields that are corresponding to the fundamental particles, like muons and quarks and that like, right? And in that way, everything is Om. Yeah, if you don't have to take that if you don't want. I just like it because it lets me say everything is Om, and it still hangs together with, quantum gravity theory that I think is the one that uses the fields for the particles result, right? Anyway. Another reason I like that is because I'm a math geek. I think a lot of you may know that. But when I was in college, when I finally decided on a course of study to actually pursue with any amount of rigor, it was mathematics, and my chosen emphasis was what they were calling. My advisor and I came up with the thing. It was because I wasn't happy with the options, so we made one up for me, and it was called axiomatic systems, which I guess isn't that rare of a thing. I suppose other schools actually have courses of study specifically and that kind of thing. But there wasn't anything titled that at SFSU when I was going there, and it's not, don't get too excited about it. It's not like you have to take a gazillion classes. I only had to have 2 classes and that to call that my focus. So I used, what did I use? Geometry and set theory. And I also took a course in foundations, which I ended up dropping at the last minute I could without, actually having to take a letter grade. Because it was, in truth, it was a graduate seminar, and I talked the teacher into letting me take it. And it was before I'd completed my BA, and I shouldn't have talked him into letting me take that course. I didn't have enough under my belt to really do it yet. It was way more work than I was prepared to do. Not because I lacked enthusiasm, but I just didn't have enough under my belt and enough contemplation in my head to, pursue it with the appropriate level of rigor. So it was harder than it needed to be. So I dropped the course. Anyway, the reason I bring up the math thing is that, as a lot of you might know, math loves to model things like waves because they fit very well into abstract models, and you can apply things like continuity to them, whereas you can't really talk about continuity with discrete objects, right? So you have to come up with curves that model the behavior and try to show ways how the continuity holds because of some, whatever, right? It seems to be more complicated. But maybe, maybe there's some things about physics I just don't quite get, and I'm, mishandling the mathematics, I suppose. Now, another reason I find that model with the whole transdimensional goo and the vibrations and calling everything ohm is because I have some very, I guess, frustrations or something about the notion of what I am as a conscious being. Like there are times that I clearly feel myself as separate from my body, like, the whole spirit-body thing. And then there's other times it seems like there's a continuum, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. In any case, so I think of one potential solution to that is, what if consciousness is in fact one of the fields, and it is generated multidimensionally in our brains at some low, very small level, maybe even almost down to the quantum. There's some kind of weird interactions going on with various molecules and shit that we just don't comprehend. I don't know, this is clearly getting on the verge of woo, isn't it? But I think that kind of model goes a long way for, if we can find any meat to it, it could account for various strange things like paranormal phenomena. And like, where is thinking happening? How is it that this material body that is supposedly made up of a bunch of chemicals and atoms, right, getting all the way down to quarks and nonsense, right, if you're being very materialist. Some people take the materialist model very extremely, right, that all of the universe is really like a gigantic pachinko machine, and that our experience, including in any kind of idea of will, is really illusory, and that we're just along for the ride, and you can't really affect anything, you're just there. I find that very dissatisfying, and it doesn't seem to jive with my experience. However, it might be that that's the case, and I just can't tell the difference, right? I don't like ideas like that, though. Plus, something about, I realize that there's a lot of things about free will, and how free is our free will, right? Because, clearly we have biases, and there's constraints on our mental processes, and what we can experience, and all these things. So how free is it really? I don't know. It seems sometimes that it's very free to me, and then other times I can tell that it's like, I had some crappy knee-jerk thoughts that just popped into my head without my even wanting them to. But it seems to me it makes sense from an evolutionary biology lens that living thing as complicated as we are would benefit from some kind of real-time decision-making element, because the world is strange and complicated. Anyway, so where do those thoughts happen, right? If everything is materialist, and how is it that I have a simultaneous experience that is multidimensional? How is that information being processed and coming together in a cohesive? It seems to me that it's like, I don't know for certain, but it kind of seems to imply to me that the material model as it stands now can't accommodate that. I don't see how. Basically what it comes down to is, how is information being transmitted from the various parts of our brain into a cohesive thing that is my coherent and consistent experience, right? Because that's the one thing we can certainly assert about the universe as our experience about it, is that it is persistent and consistent, right? Tables don't just vanish out of nowhere, right? They're there. When you put stuff on the table, you can be relatively confident that it's going to sit on that table, and when you come back, you go outside and you pick up the newspaper and you come back in, your cup of coffee is still going to be on that table. Anyway, so, again, maybe this is just mechanisms I'm ignorant to that they will, at some future date, scientifically discover to, explain away all my concerns on those issues. Maybe. However, I find the idea of the waves and everything being home super fucking cool and appealing. And it also seems to me to be a better model, to my imagination anyway, than an empty, kind of robot-like pachinko machine existence, right? So I'll come to that. I just don't like the idea of that existence. I want the beauty of my experience to be real. And plus I've had a few experiences of a chemically induced nature that make me wonder about what's really going on. And I mean, when you do certain hallucinogens, they can, I don't know if hallucinogen is really the right word for a lot of those chemicals, but psychoactive anyway, right? Psychedelic anyway, right? I don't always hesitate to use the word hallucinogens because they don't always bring actual hallucinations to fore, right? Sometimes it's just changing your perspective in such a way that you suffer sort of a kind of ego death and you see the world in a completely different way. It fucks with your paradigm. And I think stuff like that is good for you now and again. Now I realize YouTube's not going to like that statement, right? Because it sounds like I just told people that, taking drugs is good. Yeah, that's a personal choice. I think there's a lot of negative stigma to things like psilocybin, or I haven't actually done ayahuasca, but I would be interested in it. And I'm not, when I talk about those things, I don't want you to get the idea that I'm some party freak that's, ooh, let's go. I mean, I use cannabis, and when I can, I'll use psilocybin. Although it's been, when's the last time I did psilocybin? It's probably a couple of years now. I'm mostly interested in doing those things, and like you'll hear in popular culture, people use the word psychonaut, which I find appealing just because it sounds quaint. But even that sometimes portrays a kind of goofy, irreverent sort of thing, which I suppose is okay. But yeah, I'm not talking about these things as party drugs. I'm talking about these things as being a religious sacrament, frankly. Now, having said that, I will cut to the fact that I will socially smoke cannabis at times. It's not that frequently. And, sometimes I have good conversations with people and you can relax and, like that. Yeah, anyway, I didn't want to turn this into something about pro-drugs or anti-drugs or whatever. Again, getting back to the freedom issue, I am way more concerned with those types of things. I think people should be able to make their own mind up about that kind of crap, frankly. I would be fine, like Portugal has done the legalize everything thing to really good result. If people have problems with drugs, it's because they're having problems. They shouldn't be treated as criminals. They should be treated as people who have problems. And you help them. Wow, what an idea. I don't know, was there any other nonsense I wanted to say about the woo nature of my cosmological idea? I guess that would be about it. I'm hoping to make a few more videos like this. I was thinking about talking about some politics and governance and that kind of thing. I was thinking what I might do is roll it around in my head. I mean, I've been doing it already for a minute or two, but I think I'll do it a little bit more before I make another video. And I think it'll be is me describing a utopia now. I think utopias are good as literature-type things to talk about ideas, but I don't think people should actually think that they're striving to create a heaven on earth. I do think that that's a little silly. Mostly just because humans are dynamic, and humans are notoriously stupid. And there's new ones born all the fucking time, and they don't know anything. We gotta teach them everything, man. They're starting from scratch. But I do think the idea of utopia is a good place to talk about the kinds of things that you would idealistically like to see happen in a world, right? So I think that's what I'll be thinking about for a little while. I'm going to try and make that video probably in the next couple of days. There's a couple of other political topics I've been thinking about kind of going into. But I think maybe I'll start with, after this religion thing, I'll let this rest for a minute. I'll probably revisit it because there's a ton of things to talk about and what all that means and what it means to be a human, what your role should be. So maybe I'll fold some more of that in when I'm talking about the utopia thing. So I think I'm probably going to cut this one off now. What is the clock over there? Says that this is coming up on 42 minutes and just past 30 seconds. So I think I'll go ahead and call this video done for this evening. And hopefully you guys found this, I don't know, interesting, whatever. I mean, I tried to keep my tone of voice down, and I tried to remember to go back and forth between the mics. And, I keep hearing this kind of a little bit of a ground noise. I don't know. Hopefully it wasn't that bad for you guys, because it seems like it's gotten a little bit worse, and I'm wondering if it got worse without me noticing it while I was rambling. And I'm not going to redo this now. It's just, just let it be, and hopefully it won't be too annoying for you guys. And I will try to make a video soon.